you will watch on this podcast.
Just how much finding the gym had honestly changed my life.
This is a trap that a lot of people might fall into, and they don't have to. AI is good, but next to a guidance.
And it's like a wake-up call that your body is giving you, is letting you know, I didn't have enough proteins while I was eating healthy and vegan.
And I felt stronger, I felt more confident, I felt more able to do things. And eventually the mental strength, transferred over, and I was able to leave that.
Welcome back to this Wellness Billion podcast. Today we have a very special guest called Clarissa, and I'm going to let my dad introduce. But first, the topic of today, it's going to be AI, and most importantly, precision nutrition with AI.
Yeah, precision nutrition in vegan. And you're going to see that Clarissa knows a hell lot about it, and she's going to explain to us how this is good for your health, guys. So today we're joined by Clarissa Gannon. She's a CEO of Vegan Fit for Life, and she's a leader in fitness and nutrition dedicated to helping women adopt a healthy plant-based, mainly, lifestyle. So after starting as a personal trainer, she recognized the need for accessible vegan resources and launched her platform in 2014, I believe. Was that right, Clarissa?
Yes.
It's called Empower Her Wellness. With certifications like the NASM-CPT, or also certifications in precision nutrition and yoga instruction, Clarissa is an expert in fitness, sport nutrition, and wellness. Well, you have the whole package, my friends. Her mission is to help women live their healthier lives, and we are excited to dive into her inspiring journey. So let's get started. Welcome to the Wellness Billion podcast, Clarissa. Tell me something. What is the trigger that makes you do what you do with such passion today?
I probably would have to say my past has been the biggest trigger. Like when I grew up, I wasn't into sports. I wasn't athletic. I certainly wasn't vegan. I did struggle with a lot of digestive problems growing up and into my early 20s. So it wasn't until I was in my 30s and I was in a really bad marriage that I found the gym. And with finding the gym, I found that I had this strength that came inside of me. And it felt like a true empowerment. And I felt stronger. I felt more confident. I felt more able to do things. And eventually the mental strength, transferred over, and I was able to leave that marriage that wasn't so good. But after I did that, I realized just how much finding the gym had honestly changed my life. And I knew that I had to share that with other women, because there is such a strength and such a resilience that you can find inside of exercise, inside of challenging your body and overcoming things and doing hard things. I was just like, oh my gosh, I have to share this because it is truly the most amazing feeling ever. And that's how all of this began. And then through that, I still was having some digestive problems, and I decided that I would go vegetarian again, which was something I'd done in high school and helped a lot with the digestive problems I had. That eventually kind of led down the whole road. It took about a year before I eliminated eggs, and then I eliminated dairy, and I just felt amazing. And so since then, I've just stayed with the vegan nutrition. But inside of doing that, I really had to learn a lot about nutrition, not just so that I could maintain my own health, but I also knew that the clients that I was working with in the gym were really struggling. They were coming in and meeting with me 2 and 3 and 4 times a week. And yes, they were getting stronger, but their bodies weren't changing. And I knew that transferred back to their nutrition wasn't right. So if I could learn more and teach them, this is what you need to eat, and this is how much you need to eat, that it would really help them not only feel better, but it would help them to see those results that they were working so hard for in the gym and just not seeing.
And do you have any pattern recognition that allows you to know that the person is not feeling well, although they're doing some great gym because of their nutrition?
So when a client comes in and they, that's usually a general complaint is, hey, I'm working really hard in the gym and I'm just not seeing it. We have a series of intake forms. I have a questionnaire that I send over, actually a couple of them, and that lets me kind of dive in and ask specific questions as to what is going on internally inside the body and what, is possibly holding you back. Yeah. So from there, then we can dive in and really address like the root cause of, is it nutrition based? Is it stress based? Is it hormone based? And be able to better help the client by writing up a plan that's specific to what that individual specifically needs.
And what about you, Yassine? I mean, you go to the gym every morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. You spend 1.5 hours there. You sweat like hell. Do you feel that? Yeah, well, that's true. Do you feel that when you had a special type of dinner the day before, or lunch and dinner the day before, it affects your sports practice?
Definitely.
How does it happen?
I mean, whatever I eat before going to bed, I feel the difference if I ate good or not. I feel the difference in my performance. But I don't know if it's because of food, to be honest, or because I sleep bad. Because, for example, when I eat at night some type of food and I go to sleep, I don't sleep well, I know that type of food is not good for me because it's not going to let me sleep. So that means that at the end of the day, my performance is going to be bad. But for example, when I'm not having dinner, or I finish eating at like 6 p.m. and I don't eat until after my workout, because I work out during the morning, right when I wake up, I feel that my performance is much better and I feel clear in my head. I don't know why, but it's probably because of my sleep.
Well, there is something here. What happens is that I have nearly the same pattern as you, but I link the fact that I'm sleeping well and having my gym in very good conditions because I left a lag time between the end of the dinner, which might be 7:38, and my sleeping time, which is 10:30, which is 2.5 hours, which is not enough, by the way. It's not ideal. It's not bad, but it's not the ideal, which would be, for my knowledge, about 3 to 3.5 hours. And depends what you eat. If you mix like carbs and with proteins, with sugar as a dessert or things like that, then I feel that my digestion time lasts for hours, like 4 or 5 hours, and I feel bad. I feel bad mentally, and I feel bad in my stomach, and all my energies goes down. What do you think, Clarissa?
I think you have some really good points there, and both of you are right. When you eat later at night, the digestion process takes a while, right? So if our body is digesting food, it's not going to be able to enter into the recovery aspects that it needs to during sleep. So what that does is it lowers our HRV, our heart rate variability. And then the next day, that's going to lower our performance. With women, specifically the women that we work with during perimenopausal age, we don't want to be eating 3 and 4 hours before bed. I mean, you can, but we have another unique problem going on, is if we eat too early before we go to bed, we experience a blood sugar drop in the night, along with our hormone fluctuations. And then that blood sugar drop is going to spike cortisol and wake us up. And I'll have people that are waking up at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning because they don't know why. And maybe they're not even physically hungry, but blood sugar has plummeted and that's woken them up. So for women that are older, we need to be eating like probably the 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours. But then if that's not enough and we're still experiencing that wake in the night, including a small snack that has protein and carbohydrate or protein and fat, is going to help keep blood sugar levels stable all night, which will keep us sleeping and help improve that HRV.
It's a very, very, very good point because we are in the glucose monitoring business. And I can tell you that what you describe is just what happens to me. When I don't eat at night and I fast for a long time, not eating from the lunch, my glucose spikes at 1 o'clock. My glucose drops to below 60, 55, and then I wake up.
Yes.
And it's like a wake-up call that your body is giving you, is letting you know, because you have a spike of cortisol and a drop of glucose at the same time. Then the spikes of glucose goes back up. The glucose spikes back up. But what happens is that you're awake and with a lot of difficulties to put yourself back to sleep. And I
Right.
think what you're describing is just one of the solutions for that.
Right. Absolutely.
I mean, and that's I mean, that's the typical question of a lot of people. Should I eat at night or not?
It is,
And
right?
a lot of people are always asking me, oh, like if I want to lose weight or feel better, should I eat at night? Should I don't eat at night? I mean, everyone is different at the end of the day. Everyone reacts differently to food in their body. That's why precision nutrition exists, because it's precise to every single type of body, and we're all different. There's some people that needs to eat at night to be able to sleep well, for example, and there's some people that can't, like, when they don't eat, they sleep even better. I'm one of those type of people. When I don't sleep, when I don't eat, I sleep like a baby. And when I eat at night, my body starts reacting and I'm sweating every single night. And it doesn't miss. Every single time I eat at night, my body starts reacting weird.
Yeah. Sometimes another solution, to people that are more sensitive to that eating at nighttime is instead of, having our largest meal be at the night, it is maybe, put that larger meal during midday, and then at night have something that's smaller. For your case, that sounds like something that might be worth trying out.
Definitely. I always try to have maybe something small around 6, 7, but I'm the type where after 4 p.m. I start having this cravings, being like, oh, I want to eat, even if my body doesn't need food or whatever, because I had a very good lunch, a very good breakfast, and then very good lunch. So I had all my nutrients, but the cravings are coming back. So there's different types. Like I said, different people, different types. Everyone is different.
Well, I believe you have two parameters to take into consideration as I leave them. First is the timing, like as we said, the timing for digestion, for proper digestion. Second is the type of food that you're eating, because if you mix carbs with protein, with a higher level of sugar, with fats, it takes you hours, like I said. And this mix make your stomach live this life like hell. And you are obliged to work out, to make your metabolism work out, because it's slowing down. So it makes you really feel bad. And maybe that's what you're sweating. It depends on different people have different reactions, but one reaction for all of them is when you mix too many different food, and this is why I understand probably Clarissa's way to funnel her clients to vegan, because vegan makes you eat things that are good for you and that look alike. You don't mix so many things together. Clarissa, explain to us how this vegan works, because I tried to be vegan I would say 10 years ago, but I didn't feel well when I was 100% vegan. Can you tell me how you can just make people feel like vital?
Absolutely. But I think it is worth noting that not everybody does feel amazing eating a vegan diet. Like there's some people that just don't. But there is a way to ease into it. I think a mistake that a lot of people tend to make is, they go from eating all animal products one day to eating completely vegan the next day. And it is a big change, because plant-based food has a lot more fiber in it than animal products. And so even if you are eating the same amount of calories on a plant-based diet that you were eating in a traditional diet, just the huge change in the amount of fiber that you're probably getting in is not only slowing down digestion, your body's not used to it. So it can cause a lot of gas. It can cause a lot of bloating. So I don't want that for my clients. They're coming in generally with gas and bloating. So we want to minimize that. And we do that by starting out slow. What we will do generally is just take one meal a day and make it fully plant-based. And then from there, we can build on that. They're also including more vegetables and more grains working with us than they would have been eating on their own. So it's like a gradual shift, and it really helps to minimize that digestive discomfort. Another thing that we're doing is we're really monitoring, the nutrients. Are you getting enough protein? Are you getting enough iron? Are you supplementing with a B vitamin? Because those are the things that are going to make sure that you have enough energy.
So you have tricky supplementations to be able to balance the whole thing.
Yes.
Going
Okay.
slowly and progressively.
Yes. It works so much
That's
better,
nice.
I think, than just jumping, from one to one.
And everything works better like this.
Oh,
I
yeah.
always tell people, okay, you can't, like friends telling me I'm gonna go from 0 to 100 at the gym, and I'm telling them like, no, this doesn't work like this. Start with like twice a week or once a week, and then keep on increasing your frequency. But we as humans always want like 100 or nothing.
Yes. I agree.
Yes,
That's a big
and what happens is that when you eat, like I remember when I was eating vegan, I needed supplementation, but I didn't figure it out until it went bad for me.
Oh.
I found out myself completely having deficiencies, and I needed to get back to some. What struck me is that I didn't have enough proteins while I was eating 100% vegan.
Yeah.
And you could look at it in my face. You could look at it the way I behaved. I was not. I didn't feel vital enough, powerful enough to achieve what I usually achieve when I have some proteins, animal proteins in the mix. How would you recommend, Clarissa, to get into, for those people who want to go vegan? How do you what route do you recommend them to adopt?
That want to go vegan? Well, like I mentioned, I think going slow is the best approach. So taking one meal a day and make it all plant-based. It's not that hard. We have tons of options for plant-based foods. And then, just monitor how your body feels. If your body responds fine to that one meal, maybe after a week, we can bump it up and do 2 meals that are completely plant-based. But it is, like you mentioned, it's really vital to monitor how much protein you're getting in. And as far as it being hard, it's not hard. It does take a little conscious effort, but I believe even if you're not eating vegan, you still have to most women anyhow, have to make a real conscious effort to get in enough protein because they tend to eat high fat, high carb, low protein.
Is there any difference between men and women as far as this vegan food is concerned, or vegan intake?
A difference between, not really. The difference between men and women, I mean, you guys have generally higher calorie needs. You have higher protein needs just because of you're larger, so you need more fuel. Most women need a little less because we're smaller. For both women and men, but more so for women, making sure that we get in enough healthy fats is absolutely vital for hormone production. I mean, it does still make a difference for you guys, but our hormone needs are more demanding, I guess, than your hormone needs. We have a lot going on. And oftentimes, especially with, if people are trying to do raw vegan or something, they're not getting in enough fats. And then their hair starts falling out and they feel awful and they lose their period. And it's because not enough overall calories, but also not enough fat.
Talking about nutrition, we all have different needs, and we cannot compare men and women in their diet, because, for example, like you said, Clarissa, women need more healthy fats than men. I mean, I know that you, Karim, your diet is based on healthy fats mainly, and proteins with like kind of zero carbs. But my diet, for example, I couldn't eat mainly fats and not enough protein or carbs, and everyone is different.
Absolutely, everyone is different. It's the magic world. So, Clarissa, given your background in health optimization, how do you see? Let's get technical a little bit. How do you see those AIs, the AI's role in creating more inclusive and culturally aware nutrition, like giving recommendation that cater to diverse population with varying dietary habits and needs?
So with AI, I think we have some better options as far as getting information off the internet. It does have a huge database that it can pull from. It's not like you're going to a website and using a TDE calculator where you're just, inputting some numbers and it gives you back some numbers. You can put some more detailed information into some of the AI we have now, and it can give you a fairly decent plan. Is it going to give you something that's incredibly personal and, takes medical history, past dieting history, metabolic health, all of that into consideration? Probably not. So it's not going to replace, what I do because it physically can't. But I do think that the AI options that are available now do a better job than what was previously available.
Yeah, I totally cope with that. And I would add to it as our work at Epineon that we should integrate AI seamlessly with the consumer wellness apps to allow individuals to access personalized nutrition plans directly based on their uniqueness yeah, and also on the environmental and behavioral data, making precision nutrition a daily part of their health routine. And that's what we advocate for. And we believe that as there is 8 billion people in this planet, there should be 8 billion people of manners of handling the nutrition for people. And what you can eat at the same time that I can eat can have different effects on you that it has on me. And we have to be very respectful about that. And AI helps a lot in when it comes to detection, when it comes to prediction, for having you be nudged into something that is more of your type of food related to the metabolic tracking that you are having when you have the chance to have a metabolic tracker. And this enhances the knowledge of everybody in how we should eat and why we should eat because it's good for us. So it's like it's like, well, it is precision nutrition. It is just entirely tailored nutrition. But at the same time, it's like if you were having like training, upgrading yourself in your knowledge every single day. So enhancing your brain or for the at the service of your own body. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think it can be a great resource. Um, Again, it's going to be going back to like, how much of your information does the AI have access to? Because if it doesn't have the whole picture, it's still not going to do a good job of giving you something that's truly customized.
This is another thing, but at least you have more information being connected to a part of your body. Like let's just take one example: the glucose continuous monitoring. Okay, this helps a lot in knowing
Mhm.
when you wake up, like you said, at night, what happens when you see your sugar dropping. So you say, okay, I have a spike of cortisol at that time. That's what happens to me. I know. And I can see it only with my glucose monitor. And it helps me, like you said, mitigate my risk and eat certain things at certain times in the evening so that I can make my glycemia steady during the whole night and have a more profound sleep during the night. So this can happen during your sports sessions or during your day or when you're stressed because also you have cortisol spikes that make your sugar drop. This is a good way to recognize what's happening to you. I don't say it's a 360 thing, but at least it helps you much more that you are helped without having any of those sensors helping you out. What do you think?
No, I think some of the data collection tools that we have now are really great. Like I have a ring and it does, basic data collection like steps and heart rate and all that. But what's super valuable for me is that how in depth it tracks my sleep. So it tracks, not just duration, but the REM sleep, the deep sleep, and the HRV, which the HRV, again, like we talked about in the very beginning, is going to go back to let me know what kind of training day I'm going to have today and what did I do wrong the night before that my HRV is so poor. So I think that the data collection can be super useful. Again, if we're going to pay attention to it, a lot of people are they don't yet understand like how to interpret the data, or maybe what impact that data is going to have on their training.
Personally, I have a mixed opinion, mixed feeling with the connected devices. So I'm using different connected devices. I had a ring, I had the bracelet, I have the watch, I have everything. I tested everything because I'm a control freak when it comes to fitness and nutrition and all of that. So I really wanted to test everything.
And you have Epi coming up.
Epi coming up as well, which will actually help me to be able to interpretate my data, because like you said, Clarissa, a lot of people have all those devices and have all the data, but they don't know what to do with it. They just be like, oh, today I had like a 2-hour REM sleep. Wow, what amazing. But they don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to perform better. They don't know how to interpret this data. So us with AP, we're going to be able to interpret the data for them and give them this as a kid information to be able to digest and understand better. But my point is, it's good to be connected, but at a certain point. At the point where you don't have to be obsessed with this. I personally fell maybe for a year into this obsession, being like, oh no, today I burned 1 less calorie than yesterday, and I was like, oh no, wow, what a mess! I'm gonna lose all my progress. And a lot of people are falling into this trap of being like, oh, today I really didn't perform as good as yesterday, knowing that I burned 10 less calories or whatever. And this is a trap that a lot of people might fall into, and they don't have to. And the way not to fall into that is to be guided throughout the whole process. So AI is good, but next to a guidance and not alone. Because us as normal humans without any study of nutrition and sports and whatsoever, we cannot interpret the data, and we're going to go crazy with the data, and it's going to be unhealthy for our mind. So we want to be healthy in our body, but our mind is going to be, excuse me the term, fucked, and that's not good.
No, that's a really good point. And I have some clients that will drive themselves nuts with the data from their trackers. And we just have to go back to what does it really mean? What did sleep look like last night? Well, if sleep looked like that, of course, you're not going to have as much of a productive day. And then what can we do to get things more balanced and get you headed back in the proper direction?
Exactly.
Yeah, we could also look at it in the way, because those people that are connected are people that can afford to be connected. Okay, they live in developed countries, they can do it. They can do it very easily. But if you look at the bigger picture on the global health networks, AI-driven nutrition platform can collaborate with global health organizations to tailor diet plan for whispered diseases, offering free or at least affordable AI-powered nutritional advice to those at-risk populations. And I think it's important that even if you talk to your meaningful twin, which is a kind of tool we have without being connected to anything, you can talk to your twin, and it's a nutritionist twin that allows you to know that when you eat something, you feel good, you feel bad, and out of it, you take your own decisions. And then you have another side of it, which is the ethics, the ethical part of AI nutrition. Those future AI solutions would focus on increasing transparency in dietary recommendation. They should ensure that AI models are not only optimized for health, but also align with ethical considerations regarding user data, cultural diversity, and also personal health access, because then you would feel like you are nearly hacked. And I don't think it's good. And this is why I wrote a book called Renaissance Now, where I explain how good this explainable AI can be for health, but how cautious we have to be that it escapes our control. That's one. And secondly, that it's too invasive, that whatever you and Clarissa are evoking is totally right.
I think you're really right on that. There needs to be some sort of protocol or protection in place for health data, because if people are going in and they're entering a ton of health data, how is that being protected? I know we have steps in place to protect all of our client data because we do collect a ton of health data, but to ensure that that's not getting, accidentally shared or hacked, everything gets hacked anymore. So I think protecting that is something that should be, looked at as a matter of importance.
Yeah, it helps as far as your health is concerned, the link between the fitness and nutrition, all this, and it should be enhanced that way. And you have another way of handling data, which is having it anonymous, because it helps you know that certain type of people react in certain type of ways, and this is absolutely doable technically, and it will help everybody. And I think you're right, Clarissa, to your point, and also to your point, Yassine. We have to be data protected as a person, but also our data is like an organ. You can lend it to be trained to be able to figure out better way to figure out what's going on.
Exactly.
So it has to be trained for the greater good, for everybody, in an anonymous way, so that we know that overall, with all this data we have, we can really define some patterns that could happen to us or that can happen to in anybody in those circumstances or not those circumstances. Yeah, then you get to a certain global level where you can have patterns recognition.
Totally, I agree. I mean, even if we're talking about data, and we're all skeptical about giving our data and sharing what's kind of ours, at the end of the day, it help us help other people, and other people are helping us indirectly as well. So it's kind of the slogan that you love, Karim, share to grow. It's the exact same thing. We're all sharing what's ours to be able to be better, to live longer. And yeah, that's the purpose of it.
But Clarissa, let me ask you a question, also to you, Yassine. For years and years, we were tracked by Instagram, by Facebook, by X, by all those platforms that knew what we were doing, who we were meeting, where we were eating, sometimes what we were eating, because you take pictures of what you eat and so on and so forth. So I believe overall, those platforms know us better than we know ourselves. So what's the difference between them knowing our whole life, even if you have an Alexa in your home that knows and understands you and listens to you, and sometimes you're on your phone and things happen that you talk about something and you have an advertising about that thing. So being intrusive is something we live by for more than 20 to 25 years. So what is the difference between knowing about our whole life and knowing about our particular health data for our sake?
Clarissa, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, health data is supposed to be HIPAA protected. A lot of people deal with complex health issues, and I think to an extent, you could be right that it is good to put some health data in and have that collected for the greater good, so that there is more collaboration. But I don't know. I guess to what extent does AI want so much of our data? What are they going to do with it? Is it truly, in our best interest that they have all of that, or do they already have it? For all we know, they probably already have it. But I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I think I know people that are. But I do think that protecting some of our autonomy is important, and I don't know that having AI have access to absolutely everything would be in our best interest.
I have a totally different point of view.
Okay.
I'm like, yes, we've been giving our data to social media for a long time, and to be able to give my health data to a health monitor that's going to help me to become better, I would without any problem, because I don't care what they're going to do with my data as long as I help other people and I help myself become better. I mean, maybe this is my generation that thinks like this. I don't know, but it's funny because a lot of us are just giving our data to social media, for example, and it's not necessarily good. And now that we're talking about data to become a better version of ourselves, we're skeptical. But we need to be careful, because giving out data to, for example, a health monitor to be able to prevent whatever sickness we could have, and giving our data to insurance and to pharmaceutical companies, it's two different things. I would definitely give my data to a monitor that's going to prevent a sickness, or that's going to help me live longer or live better. I prefer to do that than giving my data to a pharmaceutical company, for example, because I know that this is going to kill me at the end of the day. But on the other side, it's going to help me become better.
Yeah, we have a motto in the company that says, it's a Hippocrates motto, which is use nutrition, be nutrition, your medicine. So when you hear that motto by Hippocrates, who is the one in which doctors give their sermon when they finish their studies, do you believe in food being a medicine, Clarissa?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm actually in the process of getting my PhD in functional nutrition, because I do believe that nutrition is the key. It's the foundation to our health. I think there are some instances where pharmaceuticals can be helpful, and they are necessary, but it's a minor part. And what we've done over the last, 40 years is gravitate to where pharmaceuticals are the first line of defense, instead of nutrition being the first line where it should be.
Definitely. I totally agree.
And do you think as nutrition is like the core, because nutrition is a pattern. We eat 3 times a day, we drink on a regular basis, so it's a pattern. You eat as you breathe. If you don't eat, you die. If you don't breathe, you die. So we know it's an obligation for everybody to eat, and this is why we chosen food as the entry door for our tech, because we believe that this entry door is a vital one. Then my question becomes, as the food is the entry door for your life, alongside with sleep, which is absolutely necessary, what do you do with fitness, as fitness is not an obligation? So how would you recommend to people or to experts to align at least this vegan nutrition that you preach for with good sleep and with good fitness?
I personally believe they all go hand in hand with the plant-based nutrition. I do believe that it fuels our bodies in ways that it was designed to. The meat and dairy industry has gotten a little crazy, and I do believe that those products are full of a lot of they're hormones from the animals in there. There's vaccines that the animals get that then we are ingesting. And I believe if we take those out, it does improve our overall health. And then, like you mentioned, sleep is definitely the cornerstone, because if we're not sleeping, we'll eventually die. So if we're fueling our body, we're prioritizing our rest, and then we add in some activity. Our bodies were never designed to sit for 10 and 12 and 14 hours a day. We were designed to walk for the many hours a day, and we don't do that. So truly, inside of what we practice is daily movement, whether that is going to the gym and exercising, whether it's exercising at home. For some people, it's simply getting steps in, but find a way to move our bodies on a daily basis, because that is going to improve so much our mobility, our strength, our ability to take care of ourselves as we get older. My personal favorite is weightlifting, just because there's so many studies that prove that there's so many benefits. Like, not only are we increasing metabolism, we're increasing circulation, we are helping to turn over new cells, but we're also, and for women, this is really important, improving our bone density, which is going to help improve our later years of life. To me, that's how they kind of all go together.
Yeah, this I totally agree with you. So on that note,
Clarissa, please, where can we find you? Where can our audience find you on social media? Or do you have a website or?
Pretty much all of the above. Yes, we have a website. It's a little different. It's herwellnessonline.com. We have social media. There's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and what's the other one? TikTok and YouTube. And they're all just under my name, Clarissa Gannon.
Amazing. Well, we'll leave everything down below in the description so you guys can go check it out. Clarissa, thank you so much for your time. It has been an amazing conversation. We really hope that the audience enjoyed this podcast. We really hope that they learned a lot about precision nutrition. Guys, we'll see you on the next one.
Bye-bye.